your point of view today. Yes, it was only 2-0. It could have been worse. You didn't really lay a glove on Liverpool. £200 million of new talent, 200 million euro, of new talent. Still going wrong at City. Talk to us, mate. What was the problems today?
Problems today, we're facing best club in Europe. I mean, we played our typical style without a Haaland, and we came up against Liverpool, who have been so consistent in the Prem as well as Champions League, and that's what we face today. This 130, 170, I guess it's 200 million euros spent. It wasn't for just this season, Terry. Look at the youngsters that were bought. It's with the future, and it's recognizing some of the faults that we've done with regards to the transfer window and aging out. So I think we saw what the level we need to get to this week in particular, playing against Real Madrid as well as Liverpool. We see what the standard's at. We see what's required in terms of physicality, in terms of pace, in terms of legs, in terms of technical ability. So we just got outdone today. And my bright spot, because I'm a man of optimism, I see things half full. I was very impressed with what I saw from Nico Gonzalez. I mean, he's doing things with aren't many legs around him. I was very happy with Doku. And the problem with Doku is I need to be able to have him do that consecutively. But if he's going to be relied on like that, because every ball seemed to go to him, he's going to break down. He can't do that game after game. So Doku was great. He did that against a world-class right back, I'm told. And to be able to do that in the game, we need that moving forward. Also, Marmoush, who gets criticized, Pep's system, I don't know what he was asking him and Foden to do in this game, because they seem to be fluid in terms of false nines, switching positions, but we weren't familiar with it. They were jumping in the same spaces, they were occupying the same spaces at times. It didn't work out. So we missed the big man up front. And I'm sure Konate and Van Dijk were relieved to not to have to play against them. But this thing, as well as what we were able to do in the final third, if teams are going to be compact like Liverpool did, and Liverpool have defensive quality beforehand, so if they're going to be compact and you're going to still ask a Diaz and Salah to drop back and assist like that, it's going to make a long day difficult for anybody, especially for us who have had issues scoring. When they scored the first goal off that set piece, I knew it was going to be uphill. Did they take their foot off the gas? No. They knew where the threats were, and they were like, okay, let's see you break us down. It was a long 90 minutes to watch. I was optimistic that it was going to be a draw to end the game, but this is where City's at. This is our out of form season, which Liverpool always take advantage of. We go back 2020, they ran away with it. We're now here, 2025, they're running away with it. I don't know if Igal and his club are going to put up a fight, but I've conceded that this league title obviously isn't mine. I see it being Liverpool's, and we, like our 200 million that was spent in the January transfer window, is for next season. I'm looking over my shoulder, happy at what I saw from Forest dropping points. I'm looking at games like Chelsea and Aston Villa and Bournemouth dropping points, and I'm like, you know what? That's my season. Top 4. We get this, we move on, we bounce back like we've seen great clubs or institutions like United and Liverpool and Arsenal do, being outside of the title race, but make improvements for next year, and that's us.
Can I just address one thing quickly?
Yep.
There's a narrative that's going around, like with the whole, City being weak and blah, blah, blah. Look, City won 2 league titles with Liverpool being weak. We can both do this. At the end of the day, you have to still be the best team in the league in order to win the league. And if you're not the best team in the league, you don't win the league. This is just the reality situation. And by the way, like I can claim, I don't know how many points Manchester City won the league with last year or the year before, because it wasn't like
last year.
Say that again. Sorry.
We won the league by 2 points.
No. I mean, how many? Like your points tally.
89, I think.
Yeah. My point is, so I'll tell you as an example. When you beat Arsenal, one time you had 91 points, the other time you had 89 points, right? So like, it's not like when you were coming up against us, we both like 97, 98, and like your Centurion season, etc. So like when you come up against us in those times, like the year that we finished 5th, I could say that we were weak. We have to give credit for Manchester City for pulling it over the line. And at the end of the day, if Liverpool weren't good enough, and if Liverpool didn't have Mo, who's the best player in the world, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Trent, Alisson, these players, then we wouldn't have gotten over the line even if Manchester City were weak. So that's the point. Like, you have to be really good as well yourself. It can't just be, your opposition is weak, because that's a weak argument.
You're on mute, KJ. V, I wanted to ask you about this as well, though. Did you feel the manager got it right today? He played Phil Foden as the false nine. He was just ragdolled and manhandled by Konate and Van Dijk today. And he did that after spending the better part of 60, 70 million on another forward in Mamouche. Do you feel tactically that was another mistake from Pep, just like midweek? Do you feel that he got it wrong in playing Foden in a completely alien position when he has a forward at the club?
Well, the funny thing is, you got City fans that were crying about the starting 11 versus Real Madrid, and what they wanted was this starting 11. And now that this starting 11 plays in this game, they're crying about this starting 11. I think Foden and Marmouche, they were pretty fluid. Yes, consistently, it was more, I think, Foden up top, but that was because of Marmouche's work rate and dropping back. So how we were in without the ball and with the ball was very different. Look at the goal that was offside. That was Foden dropping in and Marmouche running into space. He was marginally offside with that goal. So I don't. You often ask the question, did Pep get it wrong? If he had played things differently with Marmouche and Foden, possibly. But I saw what he was getting at, and we had a little bit of joy here and there. The overall problem consistently is who he has available to play. When you mentioned in your monologue or your intro with regards to legs and throwing in bodies, I look at, well, who's he going to trust in a game versus Liverpool? You want to throw the kids on? You want to throw inexperience? You want to throw, quote unquote, legs that are being able to give pace or keep pace? Well, then you're going to look at the technical ability. And I think they would get outclassed. I think Pep made the right choice, in my opinion. It was close early. And honestly, the first, what is 15 minutes before the goal actually happened, I was happy with how we were moving on that pitch. I was happy with what we were looking to create. Again, end of day, Liverpool, class. They've been class this season, and we were outclassed in that game at home. And when I bring up the point with regards to weakness and taking advantage, you're supposed to. I wasn't a slight. I've taken advantage whether you've dropped off or whichever club's up there, but I also know at the standard that my club's going to play at, because typically it was like routine. Oh, City's going to rack up another 90-plus points this season. That's the quality that we've grown accustomed to wanting to win this league. And I also took a breath of relief. I was like, ooh, okay, Liverpool crashed out. They're not able to do the treble. Woo, Liverpool lost again. There's no chance of Centurions. These are the little things you kind of grasp and take on when you know you're at the level. And next year, we'll see. It'll be us again, I believe.
This is also why, though, that I think a lot of Liverpool fans have been a bit annoyed at Arsenal fans this season, because they keep saying the only reason that we're above them is injuries and refereeing decisions, and that is actually quite disrespectful when you want to put it like that. Because, like, don't get me wrong, Arsenal have had some misfortunes with injuries. I think we can all agree to, like, if we're being unbiased, if they had some issues, but it's a big stretch to take that away from one team and say that you should be on top and just put it out to some other third person or third reason. Like, we're there because we deserve to be there. It's not we've lost one game this season. Even the games that we haven't played well, we've done enough to either get a point or win. So it's just not really fair, to be honest. And that's
I think the way
we can all banter.
That's why I had to respond to Vater, because I feel like it's disingenuous to just say, oh, City were weak this season and Liverpool took advantage. The reason why I say that is, okay, as an example with the injuries and health thing, last season I was on the football terrace. I was doing match reactions. I was doing straight facts. When we lost the league, we were top of the league, by the way, by 5 points. City pulled up to the Etihad. Doku switching music to McAllister, no penalty given. We had 15 injuries last season. You know what I said? My club needs to do better. We need to sign better players. We need to get better forwards in. Nunes and Diaz cost us in the big moments. Like, you have to hold your own club accountable. I never came up here and said injuries and VAR is the reason. And by the way, we got done even dirtier with the VAR last season. The game against Spurs was the worst VAR ever, like in terms of like video assistant refereeing performance ever. So you just have to hold your own club accountable. And at the end of the day, there were seasons where Alex Ferguson and United were weak. There were seasons where Arsene Wenger Arsenal were weak, and other teams won the league because they deserved it.
I agree with that. Wording is so important. And I think that as fans, we're all very emotional. You look at the VAR decision. that went Man United's way yesterday. I've been messaging journalists that have all been saying it was terrible and it was wrong, and ex-referees that are all saying it was wrong. And I'm presenting them the multiple evidence of the fleeting pools this season. I'm saying, look, I'm not trying to make this about Man United per se. I'm asking, why was it a penalty when all of these were not given for fleeting pools? And only one has responded to me saying, yeah, pulling someone's arm is very different to pulling someone's shirt, which made me laugh because I just can't. They haven't given a rationale for that. They've just done it. But it's one of these things. But people become tribal, and I'm saying, look, I actually agree that all these pulls should be penalties. I've said it all season. But I'm asking why one is now making headlines when all the others were just, by the ex-referees, were just accepted as it's the rule that's in place. And it's important when you're having these debates because Liverpool are top of the league because they're phenomenal this season and they deserve to be there. Would the title race be closer between Arsenal and Liverpool with some of the red cards that Arsenal have received? And if they had less injuries or Liverpool had more injuries, absolutely. But the way you word it is important. The way you word it is key. Because for me, I'm not going out there and saying, oh, the world was just against Manchester United. I'm saying, well, why is this different? I want to understand it. Equally, Liverpool fans saying the only reason Liverpool winning the league is because we had this go wrong. No, Liverpool still accumulated a massive amount of points by this stage of the season. So even if Arsenal were 11 points better, 12 points better, 13 points better, there would still be a very tight title race on because Liverpool deserve to be there. So I understand why Liverpool fans will kick back against that notion because it is disrespecting the it's not like you're top on. Yes. It's not like you're top right now on 55 points. Do you know what I'm saying? And everyone's been, you've been a very good team this year. So I totally get that point. Sorry, Rat, go on.
Also, the thing is that you've seen a lot of tables recently saying the last 15 games Arsenal have been neck and neck with Liverpool, right? We were 9 points clear. Do you know what point we became 9 points clear? The 11th of November. So the difference is that in that first 11 games, 12 games, whatever it was, that period, we accumulated a 9-point gap between us and Arsenal at that point. Yeah. So, and at that point, the only real significant, you can talk about Ben White, but I don't count him as a significant injury. The only significant injury they had at that point was Martin Odegaard. Saka was still there. All these other players were still there. You can lose players for the odd game here or there. At that point, we'd had Alisson out, for example. But the difference is that when we had Alisson out, we had a competent replacement come in. Kelleher came in. He's done really well in the past when he's come in, and he continues to do well. So it's not as easy as when you discredit stuff like that, and you don't take into effect that when we accumulated this big gap that the majority of which we accumulated, it was actually when most of your squad were fully fit.
Yeah, I hear that
as well. Look,
Tom, sorry, I'll come back to you, Sam.